Hey, this is Ash Hamilton from Horror Fix. That's www.horror-fix.com, and this is your fix. So a lot of you have probably been thinking that we've been in like entertainment jail since COVID, right? I mean, the pandemic set a lot of things off their schedules, and entertainment, the industry itself, practically derailed. Things are working differently. Things are sort of looking differently. Everything that we knew has changed. So the things that we thought we were going to see like a year ago, we're finally starting to see now. Drips and drabs of these bigger sort of tentpole franchise films are finally coming out. And the one that we're going to talk about today is Godzilla vs. Kong. So the big question is Godzilla vs. Kong worth the wait? We were supposed to get this in 2020. We've been seeing the toys, we've been seeing merchandise, and the build-up, unfortunately, has been a little wobbly, except for when it was announced that it would be streaming the same day on HBO Max as it was going to hit theaters. This is a big film. This is the culmination of Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of Monsters. So not only is this a film that we would expect to be theater only, not streaming same day, but this is a franchise tentpole. I mean, this is a production studio's wet dream. This is usually how they gauge moving forward how a lot of their genre products are going to get funded. So let's go back to our question. Is Godzilla vs. Kong really worth it? Was it worth the wait? Well, first of all, I know like most of the Godzilla and Kong films, there's going to be a lot of dissent and praise from both sides. I mean, these are extremely iconic characters, and the franchises themselves, remember, have been around for almost 100 years at this point. So we've got a ton of backstory, we've got a ton of back catalog movies that work towards building up these newer, sort of more modernized takes on these characters. And I think that's where I'm going to focus is characters. We've done something different with this film, which is actually a really big departure from the prior three movies. What we've tried to do with the movies in the past, and I'm really talking about the first Godzilla and even King of Monsters, is that we've tried to put a lot of focus on humanizing the human characters. How can we make a story surrounding characters that we feel for? How can we put them in danger and then get them out of this so that the audience feels a real sense of relief? How do we care for these characters? How do we endear them to us? The question is, fuck all that. I don't even think we really need that. You know what we needed to do from the very beginning? We need to humanize our monsters. We've got these monsters in every single film, and we're always looking down. We're always trying to look at the human characters and say, oh, what are they doing now? What are they running from? You know what? Let's bring some of that focus back on our monsters. How do we care about our monsters? And that's where Godzilla vs. Kong really does succeed. We've got heavyweight boxer versus heavyweight boxer in the time where we actually had boxing and that was popularized. But if we want to say, okay, we've got a UFC champion and we've got another MMA elite champion, or whatever the hell they're calling their leagues now, how do we root for one? How do we root for one when most fans love both Godzilla and King Kong? What do you do? Well, here is where Adam Wingard really understands what a Godzilla vs. Kong movie is. A Godzilla vs. Kong movie is when you can root for one of the monsters, but you really don't want either one to win. The idea that you might lose one of these icons, these beasts might fall, well, to a fan, that's a horrible idea. But Adam Wingard takes that, he gives us the tension for it, and what he does is he gives us a satisfying outcome. Something that does sort of say to the fans, okay, the what-if story between these two titans has been resolved. However, take a deep breath. Not all is lost. we do still have some interactions with our human characters, but we've seen that flip now, where the human characters are sort of just propelling the story forward so that we can focus on our monsters. And usually where you think that that would be an attempt that's devoid of character development and would actually hurt our story, it helps it. Because again, we've had that in our 3 prior films, especially the Godzilla films. And now, again, focus on the monsters. We get to add personality to Godzilla and Kong, which even though Kong was an extremely emotive character, we've really sort of had difficulty. We've only felt for Kong when he was faced with tragedy. Now we follow Kong. Kong is sort of our POV for this film. We're really seeing the events that play out sort of through his eyes. And we do have some great human characters that have been added. Skarsgård always does a great job. We have a child actor who comes in and really sells the human creature connection. The fights are absolutely fantastic. And here's one great thing as well about Godzilla vs. Kong, which took that template from the earlier films and said, hey, what can we do? How can we elevate this? The idea of the Hollow World, I think, is absolutely fantastic. We get the monsters on Earth. We're talking about topside. We've got the buildings. We've got the cities. I mean, these are things that we've seen before. Sure, there's still plenty of room for spectacle here, and we love wanton destruction. That's sort of the reason that we watch Godzilla and King Kong movies, right? But what we've done now is with the Hollow Earth, we've opened up a whole new world to explore. So being able to sort of juxtapose the idea of the outside and the inner worlds, there is plenty of playground here, kids. There's a lot of room to work with this. So, as far as Godzilla vs. Kong, for me, it was a great adventure. I love seeing these two titans battle it out, but this is one for the big screen. Even if you do stream it at home first, man, take your ass to the theater. Get the IMAX screens, the biggest speakers you can. So, the verdict, Godzilla vs. Kong, highly recommend.